Let's make history. The region that would one day become the neighborhood of Hell's Kitchen originally was called the Hopper Farm. It was the homestead for many, many years of General Garrett Hopper. The Irish had already been pouring into New York City, as well as other ethnicities, but with the infamous potato famine in Ireland, which lasted from 1844 roughly to about 1849, 1850, caused many, many, many Irish people to migrate to New York City, and they became the predominant ethnicity in Manhattan. A railroad service was launched along the Hudson, going all the way deep up into upstate New York. So many Irish people began to work on the railroad and on the docks along the Hudson, and they actually created a shanty town not far off the Hudson. After the Irish came in, and because of their numbers pretty much took over, gangs were already a thing at the time, had a heavy influence in New York already. So the Irish assimilated into gang culture and created gangs such as the Hudson Dusters, the Gophers, and of course, the most known, which many books and films were inspired by, the Westies. But the Westies wouldn't come till 100 years later in the 20th century. Hell's Kitchen goes from 34th Street, roughly the 30s, up to 59th Street, west of 8th Avenue. Many people wonder how Hell's Kitchen got its name. In the late 1800s, there was an article that came out where there was a triple murder in a particular tenement building in the 30s on 10th Avenue in Manhattan, and that tenement was referred to as Hell's Kitchen, and eventually the entire neighborhood. Gang life was the norm. This was before highways. Commerce was done through shipping and through the high seas on boats. The average gang member during this period in Hell's Kitchen would actually go in a rowboat and go up and down the Hudson as well as the East River, but they had their own gangs, and anything that wasn't nailed down, they were taking. Sometimes they would even take families for ransom. They would kidnap a child, someone's mother or someone of some importance, demanding ransoms. And this is how they operated. And eventually farmers and people along the waterfront started to protect themselves armed at all times. This is why the Second Amendment is so important.